Welcome back everybody. So today I am here to explain you about the chapter Physical and Chemical Changes, which is chapter 6 of class 7. So today in this chapter we will be discussing some key points of the chapter, and the key points are as follows. So first of all, it is changes. What do you mean by change? Reversible and irreversible changes. What are the causes of changes? Physical and chemical changes. Characteristics of physical change. Chemical reaction. The types of chemical reaction, endothermic and exothermic. What do you mean by reactants and products? Characteristics of a chemical change. Rusting. What are the conditions necessary for rusting? What are the methods of preventing rusting? And at last, crystallization. So now I'm going to explain you the points step by step. So first of all, what do you mean by change? So change is something to transform from one form to another. We have seen like water being transformed into water vapor, right? So which is known as evaporation. It is a type of change. We grow old from a small infant to a old like a grandfather, you can say, right? From a small child we go to a grandfather. So that is change in our body. A small sapling of a tree goes into a big tree, right? This is nothing but change. The fan rotates, right? It is nothing but change. So depending upon the how it changes, it has been classified into two types: reversible and irreversible changes. Now what do you mean by reversible change? So reversible change is a type of change which can be reversed. We can get back the original thing. Reversible change is a type of change in which we can get back the old object. For example, let me take this a piece of paper, right? I'm going to fold this piece of paper. So you can see a big piece of paper has turned into a small piece, right? Now if I unfold it, I get the whole piece of paper. So this is known as a reversible change in which we can get back the old object. And what is an irreversible change? Irreversible change is a type of change in which we cannot get back the old object or the old substance. For example, eating of our food. When we eat the food, we chew the food, it goes into our digestive system, it gets digested. Can you get back the old food? No. So that is a type of irreversible changes. Or you can see burning of wood, right? Or burning of paper. It is a type of irreversible change. These are the examples of irreversible change. Now, causes. So there is a requirement of a cause for any change to occur, right? Change is a constant thing, and for every change there must be a cause. For example, the ice, it melts to water. What is the cause of that change? The heat. When we provide heat to the ice, it melts to water. So for every change in the nature, there must be a cause. Now let us come to physical and chemical changes. What is physical and chemical change? So we have seen the reversible change, right? In which we can get back the old substance or the old object. So we can also regard the physical change as the reversible change in which we can get back the old object. Or we can also define the physical change as follows: that it is a type of change in which only the physical state of the matter or the object changes. For example, physical state like shape, size, color, structure are the physical state. So physical change is a type of change in which the physical state of that object or the matter, it changes. Okay, so for example, let me take this piece of paper. You can see this is a piece of paper, right? So if I keep on folding it, it becomes small, right? It became small. Now can you get back that old piece of paper? Yes, we can get back the old piece of paper. Now this type of changes, it is known as physical change. Now what is a chemical change? So chemical change is a type of change in which a new object is formed. Okay, and we cannot get back the old product. So that type of change is known as chemical change. For example, burning of wood. When wood burns, we get ashes, right? So we cannot get back that wood. So burning of wood is an example of chemical change. Now characteristics of physical change. Now, what is a chemical reaction? So we can also say the chemical change as a chemical reaction. So it is a chemical reaction includes the equation, means from changing the reactant to product. Now you have got the new terms, right? Reactant and product. What is reactant? What is a product? So here, as you can see in the chemical reaction, right, magnesium reacts, it burns in the presence of oxygen to give magnesium oxide. So the magnesium and oxygen, they are known as the reactants, and the magnesium oxide is the product. So if you can also say like this, that in a chemical reaction, the substances or the objects which are present in the left hand side are known as the reactants, and which are present in the right hand side, they are known as the products. Now for your class, there are two types of chemical reactions given. The first one is endothermic and the next one is exothermic. Now what is the endothermic reaction? So endothermic reaction is a reaction in which heat is absorbed. It is a type of reaction in which heat is absorbed, so known as endothermic reaction. Thermic means heat. So for example, you can say melting of ice, right? What happens when ice melts? The heat is absorbed by the ice and it melts. So melting of ice is a type of endothermic reaction. Now what is an exothermic reaction? So exothermic reaction is a type of reaction in which heat is evolved. Okay, we get heat from that kind of reaction. For example, respiration of our body, right? Now characteristics of chemical change. Now what is rusting, right? So we have seen, right, in a metal object some brown color substance, it gets covered by a brown color substance when it is exposed in air, right? That brown color substance is known as rust, and the process, it is known as rusting. So especially it occurs in iron. Okay, so for rusting to occur, there are certain conditions which are necessary. So first of all, there must be presence of O2. O2 means oxygen, and there should be presence of water vapor or moisture. Okay, now some other things are also responsible for the rusting of iron. So the other factor that is responsible for rusting of iron is salt. Okay, you can see that if a metal object is kept near seawater rather than fresh water, then the metal object which is kept near the seawater get rusted first. Okay, now we can also prevent the rusting by some methods, and the common methods are given here. So the first of all is painting. So we have all seen, right, we in our homes also, especially when the doors or windows made of iron, right, or metal, we paint them. Why do we paint them? So that the metal, it does not comes in the contact with oxygen. Now why? Because we have already seen that oxygen is a responsible factor for rusting to occur. So if we cut off the contact of oxygen and the metal, then the rusting could be prevented. We have also seen greasing, right? We put grease in our motorbikes, we put grease in our cycles, right? So why we put the grease? We put the grease for two reasons. One is to lubricate it, and the other one is to prevent the rusting. Now the next one is galvanization. Okay, so what is galvanization? Galvanization is the process of covering or coating the metal object with a zinc layer. So when we coat that object or the iron with the zinc layer, then it prevents the contact of oxygen from the metal. Now the next one is alloying. Now what is alloy? So first of all, before going to alloying, you should know what is an alloy. A alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two metals, or a metal and a non-metal. Okay, so what we do in alloying is that we mix up iron with cobalt, manganese, chromium and nickel. In our common word we use in our day-to-day life, it is also known as stainless steel. We all know stainless steel, right, which does not get rust. Now the next one is chrome plating. Now what is chrome plating? Chrome plating is a type of prevention of rusting in which the metal object is coated with chromium. Okay, it is coated with an element named chromium. Now let us see what is the chemical equation or the chemical reaction that occurs when rusting happens. So you can see iron, in presence of oxygen and water, which are the main two responsible factors for rusting to occur. When these three things combine together, we can see rust is formed, and the chemical name of the rust is hydrated iron oxide, and the chemical formula is Fe2O3H2O. Now, the last topic of this chapter is crystallization. Now, what is crystallization? So, crystallization is the process to obtain pure crystals, okay, from pure crystals from impure substance. Now, where it is used? Mostly it is used in obtaining pure form of salt from seawater. We collect the salt from the seawater. After that, to remove the impurities from the seawater, we use this process of crystallization. So I have explained you all the major points of this chapter. I hope you will read it line by line in your home, and if you have any kind of confusion, you can directly contact me. Thank you. That's all for today.